Right, so let's review this then. It's an original Zanussi jet system, ZFL1023, that's the model number. And this was brand new in 1987, sold. It was actually bought for £372 all them years ago. I still have the original receipt. In fact, actually, so this machine I bought, used, fully working. Came with the instruction manual too, including inside we have this home laundry, the Zanussi panel. It basically gives you a load of laundry tips, such as washing products, loading the machine, tips on how to remove stains, all that. And inside that we have our guarantee form, which would have been sent off back in the day. Came with Zanussi's 5-year cover. But bearing in mind, I'm pretty sure this 5-year cover only covers the parts, not the labour. Wait, what? Yeah, indeed, and they're labelled at the top there. It says that this came with 12 months free labour and parts. So this 5-year free cover is actually just to do with the parts. Obviously, it was purchased in 19th of the 1st, 88. And then this is a receipt. So I'll just show you at the bottom there how much it was. So they put £50 down payment on, and it left them £322.79 to pay. How cool is that? So this has come with everything. On the bottom, we've got this weird cabinet design. So Zanussis were actually sold in 2 cabinet styles. You had obviously the one like this, and the one that was all one unit to the bottom here, and they had a flap for the filter. So where's the filter on this? Well, it's still here. That's it, it's still there. It's still the same style filter as well. What made the jet system so unique was its ability to recirculate water, therefore saving on detergent, energy, water and time. Now what's interesting about this is that it says here jet system savings against the Zanussi FL1012 on the HLCC1 with pre-wash using no option button. With a full load, then it shows you how much detergent, energy, water and time is saved. If you had the washer dryer, like I've also got buried away, still broken, it also actually shows you how much time is saved. Right, because obviously that was a turbo dryer. And indeed that was really quick. Anyway, we have time. So with no button, with a 3/4 load, we save a bit more detergent, a bit more energy, a bit more water, and a bit more time in comparison to washing with a 3/4 load against the FL1012. By using the half load button, we save less detergent, but still way more detergent than the FL. Energy, water and time, we're now saving 15% of time. And then using the half load button with a 1/4 load of detergent, 1/4 load, we save 50% of detergent, nearly 30% of energy, 20% of water and 15% of time. But, oh, and if you take this out and flip it upside down, we have our program chart. So there we go. So there's all our programs listed. You'll notice that B and J listed several times, and this is because, to put it simply, it's just a main wash thing followed by whatever temperature you want on the dial. So, I'll show you that in a second. Right, there we go. So that's one thing. So before I show you some of the programs, I'll show you the options, etc. Now this is your pilot light here. It's actually currently on. It indicates that the machine is actually active. So if I were to shut the door on one of the programs right now, it would just start straight away. That's because you turn the machine on and off using the temperature dial. So we need it set here, top dead like that, to turn it off, and the pilot light will go off. So now if we shut the door on one of the programs, it won't start up. We've got 3 option buttons here, and I'll explain which one does with each as I go through the programs as well. But anyway, we have this button which says pre-wash. Yeah, with a little soak icon above. Okay, so this is actually quite complicated, right? If you select program A or H on here, they are the pre-wash sections of the dial to cottons for A and minimum iron / easy cares for program H. If you leave the button out, once it's heated to 30 to 40 degrees, the dial will advance and stop. And that's it. And that's basically then soak. If you have the option button pushed in, the dial will advance to that stop and drain. And then advance again, do an intermediate spin before finally going on to the main wash. But likewise as well, this is still soak button, so after however long you want, whether you want 2 hours or 62 hours, you've done soaking your load, you just push that in and it will drain and then do an intermediate spin followed by the main wash. If you don't want that to happen, for whatever reason, you can either turn it to program P for a short spin or program Q just to drain out, and then you can do whatever you want with it after that. We have a quick wash button. Not sure if this actually works with the main wash programs, i.e. the long main wash programs L for minimum iron and program B for cottons, but this says on the detergent guide there that you should push quick wash when using program C or K, which is program C is obviously for cottons and program K is for. But you can run K or C without the quick wash. And there's something interesting. You could take short wash with programs K or C to programs B or L. But if you press quick wash with programs K or C, they become even quicker. Not worked out yet what it actually does, but there we go. And finally, we've got multi-fabric with the, obviously, mix written into the little wash bath there. And what this does is allows program M, which is normally silks, to 30 degrees, get increased to 40 degrees. And I feel like when I was using mix, it felt the agitation was much more frequent than it would be without it pushed in. So maybe this is what it does. But it allows the temperature to go up to 40 degrees as well. Then we've got the spin speed selector switch here. We've got this side, 1000 down to 500 is the cotton side, 850 down to 450 is the easy care side. I say easy care and delicate side actually, because both programs J, K, L, M, N both end with a stop, and the only spin after that is P, which is a short spin. Interestingly, so what happens is the final spin on that is a 2-minute spin at 850 RPM. It doesn't do a stepped up spin, it just goes straight up to 850. So obviously you can then lower that spin all the way down to 450 RPM, at least on the synthetic side. On the cotton side, it has 3 stages to the final spin, 3 different spin speeds. Oddly enough, this really is just like a volt cutter basically. So what it does on, say, final spin of cottons, it would normally do 650, 850 and 1000 in that order. If you select 500, it would do something like 350, 450 and then 500. So you've got some really weird spin speeds at that level then. And then obviously you got like little increments here. Now I've worked out as well when I was pushing it down that at this level here it jumps quite a lot from that one bit there to there. Finally we've got the temperature gauge here. So to switch the machine on or select your temperature, you have to push in the dial and turn. You can select any temperature you want all the way up to 95, although I suspect more like 90 since 80 is here, 95 is there, and it's exactly the same space all the way around. So I reckon that's actually 90. But still. Finally, the actual program dial here. Now you've got a little window at the top, but they're all listed round the actual dial as well. Bit odd. Anyway, same thing applies. If you want to select a program, you have to push in this first, then turn. So we've got program H, which is minimum iron pre-wash, obviously, and then this is where it goes into soak / drain, then spin, and then it does its main wash. Now this is the long main wash, and program L for minimum iron. Up to 2 kilo can be washed, which is half the load roughly. And you can select up to 95 degrees, so if you're doing special whites, for example, you do it on this program. Program K is the quick wash, or as I put it, a short wash, but then obviously you can select quick wash as well and make it even quicker. This is available all the way up to 60 degrees. It then does 2 very deep rinses and ends with a stop here. And then if you want to conclude the final spin or just a drain, you go to programs P or Q, but more of them in a minute. We've got program L. Also, you can just turn the dial without actually pushing that in. Program L is wool up to 40 degrees. Program M is silks at 30 degrees. If you select multi-fabric, you can do a short quick wash at 40 degrees. Program N is 3 rinses for delicates. And again, then it will end at a stop in the final rinse with obviously a high water level. Then again, you can have a quickie once to go and do a short spin, or 3 times and do a drain only on program Q. And then all that ends to a stop. Program A is cotton pre-wash. Again, then it will advance to stop when it's heated to 40. Or drain, and then obviously a short spin followed by the main wash all the way up to 95 degrees, and then you've got short cottons wash here on program C, available to 60 degrees. You can probably go higher, but I haven't tried that yet. Also, I don't know if quick wash actually works with B or J. It probably does. I'm going to stop doing that because it'll just rip everything off. Program D is cotton rinses and final spin, where it'll do 3 rinses. I'm sure it does only 3 rinses at this point. Program F is cotton's fabric softener. And program G is cotton's final spin, long spin to 1000 RPM. And it is a long spin as well. I say long, it's more long at 1000 than anywhere else. Then eventually comes to a stop. I'm not very fond of this, I say door handle, but it's more to do with the fact that this is very suctions quite a lot. Right. So inside we've got a 4.5 kilogram 10 pound drum. We've got these built-in drum paddles with 3 holes in, which will probably act as a rain wave as well. So it'll drop water on top of the load that's going round. But it has another party piece. We also have this like plastic outer band here. I don't really do much other than I guess bridges a gap. Only this on my washer dryer has it. If you had FLs, they didn't have this this band yet. It was same pour hole, the same drum. So it's a bit weird why we have it. Not entirely sure. Nothing anywhere. There's no information anywhere. Anyone can tell me. You can drop a comment below about it. Right, so we've got our detergent drawer labelled A with a 1, B with a 2 and a C with a fabric softener symbol there. So we've got our detergent, we're going to put it into B. If you're selecting programs H or A, you'd pull detergent into compartment A, and if you're doing obviously followed by main wash anyway, you put power in A and B. You can also put optional fabric softener into compartment C, but we're not doing today. So, alright, so we're going to select program C, quick wash, and then when we turn it on, we'll turn it on to its maximum temperature of 60, at least for this cycle anyway. Right, so we're now at the end of the cycle. So, what I'm going to give this out of 10, it gets a 9.5 out of 10. Now, of course, it's not entirely perfect, but considering that when this was released back in in the late 80s, this is lacking options. But on the same token, it gives you kind of everything you want. Obviously, the biggest improvement is how much water it uses, how little detergent it wastes. And it does all this, it genuinely does all this because of how this works. Just a little bit on how I forgot to mention how the jet system actually works on this, because it's a bit different to the later versions. So on this, you have two pumps, one here and one on the opposite side. All the detergent and everything comes down through the filter as normal, then gets pulled across into a box. In this box is a heater, and then that gets pulled across to here, up to the top, and rains down. That is pretty cool, because that means that you've got an even amount of heat going through. Rather than heating at the bottom and heating upwards, it's actually bringing the heat downwards, so hopefully it will actually should kind of heat quicker. It doesn't, but by forcing that powder and detergent to go round like so on top of the load, you've got nice warm water or hot water coming down with that mixed powder all the time, and effectively really does work. It really does get rid of stains, even at 60 and stuff like that, because it doesn't, because of that, you know. That is the really cool thing about this machine. And of course, obviously, the water level. Yes, it's low, and yes, the cycles are actually slightly, I'd say, longer. But the problem is this machine is a cold fill only machine and not a hot and cold like other machines are. So of course, yeah, it does take a bit longer compared to the ZFL1012. It's slightly quicker actually. That's also a cold fill machine. With all its advancements of lowered water, it's great, brilliant. What more do you want? The only downsides that I find with it is its spin speed. It's only got a maximum of 1,000 RPM. I don't think there was anything faster from Zanussi at the time at this point. Yet there were obviously 1,400 RPM. There were 1,300 RPM hot points out there and services. You know, and even AEGs were sort of like 1,200 as well. So that's why it doesn't get that half point. It's that half point where it could have ideally been like a 1,200, because this is quite top of the range for a Zanussi. Okay, it hasn't got like display and everything like that, but this is top of the range for Zanussi at the time. That being said, flexibility wise, because you've got a temperature dial, because you've got sort of like 2 length washers and a quick wash button and the multi-fabric button and all that, and be able to soak or pre-wash, it's up to you. Have a pre-wash followed by a soak, or not to soak, it's up to you. And an 80-meter spin, which is pretty good after the pre-wash, and between the races, which is starting to get more common back then. You know, it's just good all the way around. Wash results wise, there's a bit of powder smell there, so rinsing's a bit weird. That also being said, the powder smell is not that strong in comparison to other machines I've ever used with Airy. No, I love it. I love this machine. It's a good little daily runner as well. This, I would happily have as a daily runner. Maybe, because obviously it's only got 1,000 RPM spin. That also being said, 1,000 RPM spin is still pretty good in comparison to other 1,000 spin machines back then. Cool. Right, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. And I'll see you again soon.